This lesson is going to go over ratios. So your key idea is that a ratio compares the relative size of two quantities. A comparison or ratio may be written in different ways. For this box of colored squares, the comparison is 2 squares out of 8 squares are green. And then you guys might remember this from when you were in the 6th grade, because that's when ratios were first introduced to you. But there are a couple different ways you can write a ratio. Here they are. So back to this shape right here, if we were comparing those two, you could write it as a fraction, so 2 over 8. You could use words, so 2 out of 8, which is what they did. They said 2 squares out of 8 squares are green. You could write it with, in the 6th grade I called it the dot dot, so when you put a colon in between. And then you could also use the word 2, so 2 to 8. Sometimes I'm going to ask you guys to write it in simplest form or lowest terms, which if you know how to simplify fractions, it's the exact same thing. 2/8 could be simplified to 1/4. So you could say 1 out of 4 and so on. All right, so now let's try. Use these pictures to write the following ratios as fractions. And you've got a whole bunch of random things that you would find in a kitchen. Compare the number of fruits to the total number of items. Okay, rewind. It says to write it as fractions. In the directions on all of these, it'll tell you which form I want you to use. So when we're writing them, we're going to make them look like this one. Anywho, compare the number of fruits to the total number of items. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fruits. The order that you write these in matters. So if it asks for the total number of fruits first, then that number needs to go on top. And the second number will be the total number of items. And if you flip them, you'll have the entire question wrong. So 5 fruits out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 items. So 5 over 8. Compare the number of beverages to the number of fruits. So beverages, I count 1, 2, 3. And then the number of fruits, it was 5. I remember that from the first question. Compare the number of beverages to the total number of items. Okay, so there were 3 beverages. Now we have to count how many items are total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 3 to 8. If the amount of items in this selection is doubled, what would be the ratio of beverages to fruit in lowest terms? Okay, so first, pretend like there's a duplicate of this. There's 2 of everything. It's doubled. Now we need to compare the beverages to fruit. So there are 1, 2, 3 beverages. However, if we doubled it, there would be 6. Fruit, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. However, if we doubled it, it would be 10. So 6 to 10 would be the first part. Now it wants us to put it in lowest terms. So if we take 6 and 10 and we simplify it, to simplify, you have to, actually, hang on. Okay, let's see if it'll follow to, there we go. All right, so to simplify, remember it was 6/10, so let me write it out. If you have a multiplication chart in front of you, simplifying anything becomes super easy. What you need to do is find a column that has both of the numbers you're trying to simplify in it. And I always say to avoid the ones column. So if you look in the ones column, it does have a 6 and a 10, but that's not going to help you at all. So find a different column that has both a 6 and a 10. So here's another one. The 2's column has a 6 and a 10. And then it has to have both. So like the 3's column has a 6, but it doesn't have a 10, so you can't use that one. But anywho, if you were to keep going, you wouldn't find it in any of the others. So once you find the column that has them both, you just follow it to the left, and it becomes 3/5. Where'd it go? All right, that's it.